Here we go. Mini part number one. Remember this film? Um, I don't know. This looks like Madagascar 3, maybe? I can't really get a good look. It just reminds me of. It just reminds me of that one lead we see in Madagascar 3. I could be wrong. I'm not gonna say if I'm right or wrong about this matter or anything like that. But it does give that impression, basically. That's what I'm saying here. So, all right, let's see what's going on here. This is going to be a bit crazy, but sure, let's go. If you enjoyed this reaction video, hit the like button below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button to be notified immediately when your video comes out. And yeah, any videos I recommend, comment section below. In the link description down below will be the link to this video. So be sure to give the theorizers some love and support for the video that they made. And if you want to check out this video yourself, again, go look in the description. Now with this all said, time to really get into this, huh? Well, here we go. Okay.
Since Easter's right around the corner, I thought I'd analyze a film that had a bit to do with Easter. As you can see here in my top 50 favorite CG animated films, this movie is one of my top 10 favorites.
Oh! So we're reacting to Rise of the Guardians. That film. You know, now having that said, that would make more sense in all honesty. Yeah, that's on me. So we're doing a little mini theory about the Rise of the Guardians. Okay.
Of all time.
Hit me with
I
it.
love the idea, the plot, the villain, and most importantly, the secrets. Before watching this, I would definitely recommend watching Rise of the Guardians if you haven't seen it. Now here's the analysis. Now, I'm not the first person to realize this, but during multiple flashbacks, we see Jack Frost's sister named Flea, and she looks strikingly similar to the two main kids in the film, Jamie and Sophie Bennett. When the director, Peter Ramsey, was questioned in an interview about their relation, he stated, "Who knows, it could be possible, it's one of those movie mysteries." So, if anything, these kids would be the descendants of Jack Frost's sister. So, as usual, I'm going to genetically, analytically, and deeply study the inner workings of this movie to see if the director was legit or just messing around. Step 1. Genetics. The most common visually hereditary traits are eye color, handedness, earlobe style, hair color, and freckles. Since brown hair and brown eyes are the darkest of all colors, they are dominant throughout the generations. So if Flea has brown eyes and brown hair, so should her descendants. Lucky here, Jamie's mom and Jamie both share those traits, and not only the trait colors, but the exact shade of brown eyes and hair as Flea. Sophie Bennett is either adopted or has an extremely unlikely and rare trait, possibly from her dad, who we don't meet, as she has bright blonde hair and green eyes, which are completely recessive genes. As far as the freckles go, Jamie has some, and so does Flea. Now time for the handedness. Are they right or are they left? Dreamworks intentionally makes certain characters left and right-handed in most of their films, and they stay consistent throughout. After watching several clips of Jamie, I successfully concluded that he was in fact right-handed, the dominant trait. And although there are very few scenes with Flea, the only one that has her use her hand is the one where Jack drowns. This is the only time she signifies any favorability towards one hand or the other. And guess what? It was her right hand she instinctively reaches out with. No coincidence, it is proof. Finally, her earlobes. Jamie's are attached, the rare trait, so Flea must have attached for this aspect to follow through as accurate evidence. It's extremely difficult to see, as her hair is always in the way, but if Jack's earlobes too are attached, then this family follows the rare earlobe trait, meaning it's likely hers are attached as well. So it's now official that the genes 100% match up. Step 2, further plot analysis. Jack Frost has a significant bond with Jamie, one that can't be beaten, kind of similarly to the one he had with his sister? And the same town is used throughout the entirety of the movie, and this shows consistency throughout the generations. Other than these bits of evidence, though, I haven't found much more, but what I've already got is plenty. Jack Frost is the 300-year-old ancestor of Jamie Bennett, and they bond so well as Jack's memory of Flea lives on in Jamie. When dealing with the evidence, I noticed more. I'm going to look into the history between the moon and the boogeyman and try to deduce an answer to that, and also what the moon represents. The relationship between Jack and Pitch Black is extremely mysterious, and I feel very eager to get into it later. However, until next time, I'm the Theorizer.
Oh, so it's a collection of mini theories put together, and it's the rise of the Guardians. Okay. That's an interesting way to do this, I'm not gonna lie. So that's the situation going on here. Alright. Fair enough. Can't say I have seen Rise of the Guardians. Unless I did and I forgot about it. Maybe I did. I don't know. If I have, it's been a long time and I don't even recall from it. And, yeah. Anyway, that's all I really have about the matter at hand. But, descendants of his sister before he became Jack Frost. Okay, that's fair enough.
What I'll be doing today is altering my first Kung Fu Panda theory. In this theory, I discussed how certain things in the movies weren't very logical, and I explained how they could be logical and how it totally changes the story. The Poe is dead theory is my second one, and I want to steer as far away from that one as possible, so we'll only be sticking to the parts of my original Oogway theory. Let's go. Master Oogway is a pivotal character in the Kung Fu Panda series, and when I saw him in the third, I was all like, oh yes, I've been prepping for this since movie number duh. But Oogway's a fairly suspicious character. He's not evil or anything, but there's a lot in which he hasn't revealed. You probably haven't wondered about this, but I have. Am I the only one who finds it bizarre that Tai Lung was just dropped off on the porch of a martial arts training station? Like, I realize that it's a kind place with people who can care for him, but it's also a place of constant peril and danger, with its inhabitants being masters of violence. I just find it a bit odd that anyone in their right mind would actually do this. Poe's mother abandoned him in a radish box, but that was because she was about to be murdered by a feathered freak.
True.
But let's come back to this in a minute. We know that Oogway's lifelong goal for Shifu was to help him achieve inner peace. And how does Oogway go about doing this? He uses Poe. If you haven't noticed, Poe is ultimately the route to Shifu's inner peace. A student who can be taken under his wing, or his gigantic Dumbo ears, and Poe's actions lead Shifu to finally mastering inner peace, putting his frets about Tai Lung to rest when his own student finishes the job. But what is the relevance of any of this? Well, prepare to have your whole perception of Master Oogway.
That's an interesting thing. Also, I'm surprised he didn't continue with the Rise of the Guardians, but sticks and stones, I guess. Or whatever the correct phrase would be in this situation. I'm not even gonna bother at this case, but yeah. Honestly, this is a bit of a curious thing, not gonna lie.
Oogway changed. My theory is that Tai Lung was a failed attempt. Oogway always knew who the Dragon Warrior would turn out to be. Poe. So why even bother with Tai Lung? Inner peace. A baby snow leopard at the front door of a martial arts training academy. Old Oogway pushing his student to his potential. Oogway put the baby at the door. Sounds a bit far-fetched, let me explain a
A
little
bit,
more.
yeah.
Right there, right when Shifu opens the door, it's been put there. And this is exactly the kind of thing Oogway would do. A child. Raising a child is a route to inner peace. Becoming a parent. It changes Shifu, but Tai Lung turns sour and undoes all the peace Shifu gained from raising him. As we see, this affects Shifu in detrimental ways. He can't even hurt Tai Lung. In Dreamworks' rendition of China, you can openly adopt anybody. The best and most immediate example, of course, being the feathered flyer of Mr. Ping. He openly adopts Po right after finding him. So tell me just how far-fetched it is for Oogway to do the same. This is all supported in how Shifu and Oogway act. I find it genuinely hilarious that Oogway, a tortoise having total control over his immortality, kills himself right as he predicts Tai Lung has escaped. He isn't cowering, and he isn't randomly dying. He is simply letting Po do the work. Po needs to be the Dragon Warrior. Shifu's student needs to succeed, and Shifu masters inner peace, just as Oogway had so desperately wanted him to. Tai Lung, the student that failed at encapsulating the image of the Dragon Warrior. Oogway has a pattern of sending Shifu unique kids, but this one backfired, and hard, leading to a Dragon Warrior versus anti-Dragon Warrior 1v1. Oogway is smart. He plans things centuries ahead of time. It's just how he is. Random baby on the Jade Palace steps. Sneaky old bag with his perfect pink peach tree. Hear what Oogway's constant motto is. There are no accidents. No accidents? Then how could you mischievous millenarian, have ever even considered Tai Lung in the first place? To have not intervened sooner? How could you consider him to be the Dragon Warrior in the slightest? If you're so psychic, then why would you allow Shifu to train him all those years? If you are a prophet that lacks accidents, and can detect if someone is a legend or abomination just by looking at them, then why would you start all of this to begin with? The answer is really simple. Realizing the fault in Tai Lung immediately, Oogway let Shifu train him. It kept Shifu preoccupied with happiness, but simultaneously, this had him trained into the anti-Dragon Warrior. Shifu's inner peace is this reptilian reject's main priority. In his not final words, he says that Po must fulfill his destiny just as Shifu had to fulfill his. And what is Shifu's destiny? To let go of the illusion of control. Oogway speaks in allusive riddles and metaphors, and right here, he is referring to how Po will become the Dragon Warrior. He is telling Shifu that things will flow as they should, and that Shifu can't have control of every aspect. From this perspective, Tai Lung's rage is extremely justified. He rambles on about how it was Shifu who pushed him to training until his bones cracked, and it was Shifu who filled his head with dreams of becoming the Dragon Warrior. I even translated Tai Lung into English, and it translates to Great Dragon. And finally, he says that it was Shifu who denied him his destiny. Okay, Tai Lung, hold up. Even Shifu says that it was clearly Oogway who denied your destiny. It was Oogway who chose not to intervene all those years, building up your passion to crush it. And it was Oogway who taught Shifu how to train harshly. So honest to God, what else could Oogway have done that night? Why would someone dash up the hundreds upon hundreds of Jade Palace steps when they can just as easily drop off their child in a town populated with plenty of kind, safe people? In the spirit realm, Oogway tells Po that he was to be his true successor, and that he chose Po as he could tell he symbolized the yin and yang. He saw the past and future of Kung Fu when he looked at Po. He also implies to Po, and literally tells Kai, that he set Po on his path so that Kai would be stopped. That's what the Dragon Warrior is. The protector of Kung Fu, bearer of the Yin-Yang, defeater of Kai, and Oogway's successor. Which leads to the final question, and the very interesting implication of, if Po is Oogway's successor, then was Oogway the original Dragon Warrior? Oogway's symbol on his cape is of a yin-yang symbol composed of a long serpent-like shape, with spiraling appendages. A dragon, perhaps? I don't know. It's meant to be art and therefore metaphorically displayed, so how about the fact that the Jade Palace is modeled with dragon imagery everywhere, and it was Oogway who built it? It's just that all of this is an implication of Uguay's logic, but this is all for another theory entirely. And so, before I finish off today's video, there was something else that I noticed, which may or may not be correct.
The first movie's villain is Tai Lung. He is a vicious, enraged,
Oh,
active
okay.
villain. The
He's
second
gonna
movie has Chen.
speed
He
up
is
his
much more
speaking.
graceful with
Okay.
his movements and
Why
usually
not?
avoids physical contact, preferring the usage of sophisticated weaponry. The Yin and Yang represent two halves of the universe. Yin is the passive, female, earthly aspect, and Yang is the heated, active male side. And these two villains wanted to become both the Yin and the Yang. Tai Lung wanted the Dragon Scroll, which embodies the Yin-Yang, and Chen wanted to literally become it, but both failed. Do you know why? Because they both only demonstrated one half. Po, on the other hand, shows all aspects of both sides. That is what Uguay saw in him, his calmness but also his extravagance, his body shape and colors. And the third movie has Kai, who represents both halves, but he is sort of like an anti-yin-yang, demonstrating everything that it shouldn't. So that's my theory on Kung Fu Panda. Wrong or right, I still think it's a very interesting topic for discussion, and I don't want to be accused of slandering Uguay like in my last video. Regardless, these movies are my favorite Dreamworks movies. Next to, of course, a couple others, but they're definitely in my top 3 favorite franchises.
Anyways, today I'm going to be looking at the two main villains of easily the funniest Dreamworks film.
Okay. That was something. Honestly, I was trying to rack my brain around all that stuff, but whatever. So basically, one theory is about the connections between Jack Frost and certain characters throughout the film, and the other one is about the whole Dragon Warrior thing and about knowing who was the right Dragon Warrior, and the fact that it was about everything that led to the point of Po arriving was basically uh, the whole thing of making sure Shifu finds inner peace. That is the basic dumbed down version of everything that I heard, and it still sounds so contradictory as frick. Like, so much so that it's actually annoying to hear it because of how ridiculous it sounds. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video, because it sounds like a way just to make more chaos happen. I hope you all enjoy. If you did, hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button, be notified immediately when the video comes out. And I'll see you all next time. Tell me what you think about these two mini theories. Honestly, when I try to think about them, nothing really comes to mind, because it just sounds so repetitive in some way. No, not repetitive. It just sounds so like I get that these things are important because some people might have these thoughts, some people might have these theories in mind, some people might see these connections. But there wasn't really a lot to really truly think about, because it sounded like a legit reason and explanation to why things are happening. Nothing to really contradict, it's just, hey, here's this fact from this one mini theory. It could be true because it's a mini theory, and usually when you try to do a mini theory, it doesn't really have a lot of proof or evidence backing it up. It's just this one thing that has connections to it. That's basically what we were reacting to this time. A set basically of mini theories. And these two mini theories from this one set basically, well, did this. And yeah, there's bits and pieces of evidence, but there's nothing to fully say that this is true or false. It's just, hey, there's just some connections here. And if you don't have anything to fault it, there's probably a bunch of other people that have it that can see the flaws into these theories. That's basically it. This is just this these two little mini theories were probably harmless fun to take note of something. If they fit into the grand timeline involving Mort, then okay, it involves Mort in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, other than that, that's it really. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, as I said, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!